500,000 miles. That's how far some of these motorcycle engines have traveled, and they're still ticking. While most bikes give up long before the 100K mark, these mechanical legends just keep going. From bulletproof thumpers to silky smooth inline fours, we're counting down 8 motorcycle engines that laugh in the face of the scrapyard. Let's get into the beasts that simply refuse to die. Number 8. Yamaha XT500 SR500 engine. Let's start with a legend that put Yamaha on the map when it came to reliability. The 499cc single-cylinder air-cooled engine from the XT500 and SR500. Released in the mid-1970s, this engine was built for one thing: pure, unstoppable dependability. It didn't care about horsepower. It didn't need high revs. What it delivered was an engine that could start on a kick, idle like a tractor, and run forever on a teaspoon of oil. But the story behind this engine isn't just technical, it's cultural. The XT500 was the heart of the Paris-Dakar Rally. Riders would take these air-cooled beasts across thousands of miles of brutal desert terrain, where other bikes failed from overheating or complex electronics. But the XT? It just thumped along, slow, steady, and unstoppable. Technically, it was brilliant in its simplicity. No liquid cooling to fail, no timing chain to stretch, no fragile top-end components, just a big piston, a long stroke, and a flywheel that smoothed out the low-end torque like a freight train on rails. What about real-world results? There are SR500s running in Japan and Germany that have logged over 180,000 miles, with nothing more than routine valve checks and basic oil changes. And it's not just old-timers keeping them alive. There are entire subcultures of custom builders, dirt trackers, and even vintage racers who swear by these engines today. Some rebuild them, others never had to. If you want a bike engine that'll outlive the roads you ride on, this is where the legend begins. Number 7. Honda Cub Series engine. You don't sell over 100 million units by accident. You do it by creating an engine that's so reliable, it becomes part of the global infrastructure. We're talking about the engine from the Honda Cub, the 49cc, 89cc, and later 110cc single-cylinder horizontal motors that powered the most successful motor vehicle in history. At first glance, the Cub's engine looks like a lawnmower motor, but inside that little block is one of the most efficient and durable pieces of engineering ever made. Here's why. It's air-cooled, so there's no radiator or coolant to deal with. It uses an ultra-low compression ratio, meaning it'll run on anything, including dirty, low-octane fuel in third-world villages. It has a centrifugal clutch and a semi-automatic gearbox, so there's less wear on the internals. But most of all, it's built to run at low RPMs and stay there. It's a stress-free life for this little engine. And that's why it goes and goes and goes. In Vietnam, there are Honda Cubs with over 300,000 kilometers on them. Delivery drivers, postmen, farmers, they run them 12 hours a day, every day, year after year. In Africa, mechanics run them on kerosene. In Thailand, they use them as taxis, with sidecars carrying families of 5, and they still start on the first kick. This engine is the reason Honda's motto used to be, "You meet the nicest people on a Honda," because Honda knew this engine wouldn't just take you where you needed to go, it would never let you down. Number 6. Kawasaki KLR 650 engine. If the apocalypse comes, and you can only ride one bike out of the burning rubble, there's a reason why most riders say, "Give me a KLR." The Kawasaki KLR 650 has been in continuous production with minimal changes from 1987 until today. And the heart of that bike is a 651cc liquid-cooled single-cylinder engine that has become legendary for one thing: never saying die. Unlike more advanced bikes, the KLR doesn't care about being refined. It's not smooth, it's not flashy, but you know what it is? Reliable as gravity. Here's why. Its long-stroke engine is low-revving and torquey, reducing internal wear. The top end is simple, with screw-type valve adjusters that don't require fancy tools. The early models ran in carburetors, meaning you could fix them with a paperclip in the middle of nowhere. KLR owners have ridden across Mongolia, South America, and Alaska with no support trucks. There's even a documented case of a 1990s KLR that was ridden over 250,000 miles with only basic maintenance. One rider famously called the KLR a cockroach in motorcycle form, rugged, ugly, and unkillable. It may not get you there fast, but it'll get you there and back 10 times. Number 5. Suzuki DR650 engine. Next up is a bike so raw and durable, it barely changed since the 90s. The Suzuki DR650. This 644cc single-cylinder air-cooled engine is about as close to farm equipment as you'll get on two wheels, and that's a compliment. No water pump, no radiator, no unnecessary electronics. Just a massive piston thumping away with minimal internal stress and a chassis that begs to be abused. This is the motorcycle equivalent of a cast iron skillet. Simple, timeless, indestructible. The DR650 engine runs cooler than you'd expect for an air-cooled setup thanks to deep cooling fins and conservative tuning. It puts out just enough horsepower to conquer mountains or cruise highways without ever feeling overworked. But what really cements its place on this list is the sheer number of high-mileage DRs on the road. Overlanders ride them across entire continents. Couriers use them in harsh, dusty, tropical conditions. Mechanics praise it because you can rebuild the entire top end with hand tools in a garage. One famous rider, RTW Paul, documented his trip from Europe through the Middle East, down Africa, and across South America, over 200,000 miles on a DR650 with the original bottom end. It doesn't win dyno charts, it doesn't win races, but what it wins is the battle against time and terrain. If you want the definition of no-nonsense reliability, the DR650 engine is it. Number 4. Honda CB750 engine. Before the CB750, motorcycles were noisy, unreliable, and temperamental machines ridden mostly by grease-stained hobbyists and outlaws. Then came 1969. Honda released the CB750, and everything changed. At the heart of this cultural and mechanical revolution was a 736cc inline-4 engine, air-cooled, overhead cam, and built with the kind of obsessive precision Honda became famous for. It was the world's first mass-produced inline-4 motorcycle engine, and not only did it make motorcycles faster and more sophisticated, it also made them reliable enough to daily. The CB750's engine had a smooth, balanced crankshaft that reduced vibrations, chain-driven camshafts for better longevity than gear-driven units, a rock-solid bottom end with reinforced main bearings, 4 carbs. Yes, but once tuned, they stayed tuned for ages. Mechanics from this era often joked, you could run this engine dry for 10 minutes and it would still start back up. Thousands of these bikes are still running today, some on their original crankshafts and pistons. In Japan, vintage rental shops offer CB750s to tourists, with full faith they'll handle hundreds of miles per day. In the US, collectors ride them coast to coast just for fun. And the best part, it's fully rebuildable. Every part is documented. Every gasket is available. The aftermarket is eternal. If you want an engine that not only changed the world, but is still riding strong 50 years later, this is it. Number 3. Yamaha FJR300 engine. Speed, comfort, durability. You usually get 2 out of 3, but Yamaha said, why not all 3? That's where the FJR300 comes in. A bike with a 1298cc inline-4 that's earned a reputation as one of the most mile-hungry engines ever built. This isn't your average sport tourer. It's a purpose-built distance destroyer with engine components designed to last through hundreds of thousands of highway miles. The FJR300 engine features liquid cooling for consistent temps in all conditions, dual overhead cams and 16 valves for efficient combustion, fuel injection with bulletproof throttle bodies, a gear-driven counterbalancer that smooths out vibes at high speeds. But numbers alone don't tell the story. Police departments around the world use the FJR because it never breaks down. Iron butt riders log 1,000+ mile days on them, multiple times per year. In forums, it's not rare to find owners with 300,000+ miles on the clock on the original motor. One famous FJR owner in California posted his full maintenance history: 320,000 miles on a 2005 model, only regular oil, brake pads, and one clutch replacement. The engine, untouched. This is not just longevity, it's luxury-level performance with diesel-level toughness. If you want something that feels like a jet engine at 80 miles per hour and still asks for more, the FJR's inline-4 is a modern miracle. Number 2. Harley-Davidson Evolution Engine. When the name Harley-Davidson comes up in reliability conversations, people usually roll their eyes. Aren't those bikes always leaking oil? That may have been true in the shovelhead era, but in 1984, Harley introduced the engine that would rewrite their reputation, the Evolution 1340cc V-twin. Nicknamed the Evo, this air-cooled pushrod-driven V-twin wasn't just a technical upgrade. It was a survival engine, the result of a company on the brink of collapse, fighting back with something better, cleaner, and tougher. Let's talk engineering. Aluminum heads and cylinders reduced weight and improved heat dissipation. New machining tolerances eliminated the infamous oil leaks. Redesigned crankcases and updated lifters meant less maintenance, fewer blowouts, and quieter operation. And unlike the performance-focused engines of today, the Evo didn't try to be flashy. It was tuned for longevity, low RPM, lots of torque, minimal stress. Here's the kicker. Harley riders have racked up 200,000+ miles on original Evo engines with regular oil changes, valve gaskets, and maybe a stator or clutch replacement. Thousands of Evo-powered FXRs and Softails from the 80s and 90s are still on the road today, daily driven, not babied. It became so reliable that custom builders started pulling these engines into bobbers, choppers, and touring machines. Why? Because they could trust them. If you're looking for a classic Harley engine that combines old-school charm with modern-day durability, the Evo is your ticket. It's the engine that saved Harley, and it's still carrying that torch 40 years later. Number 1. Honda Goldwing Flat 6. Let's not sugarcoat it. We've saved the best and most unstoppable for last. At the top of our list is the Honda Goldwing Flat 6 engine, specifically the one found in the GL 1500 and 1800 series. And when we say this engine lasts forever, we mean it. 1832cc of flat 6 horizontally opposed smoothness, liquid cooling, fuel injection, shaft drive. Why is it so reliable? Let's break it down. The opposed cylinder layout keeps engine temps and vibrations ultra low. Shaft-driven rear wheel eliminates chain wear and slop. It's tuned for low-end torque, not high-end stress, meaning it never feels strained. Massive cooling capacity, plus heavy-duty oiling systems ensure long-term thermal stability. In short, it runs cold, smooth, and stress-free. It's the perfect storm of reliability. The results? Owners regularly hit 300,000 to 400,000 miles on the original motor. Maintenance is minimal, just valve checks, oil changes, and tire swaps. There's a story from a GL 1800 owner in Arizona who crossed 500,000 miles before needing a top-end refresh. Goldwing riders even have a nickname for their bikes, two-wheeled Accords, because they just never break. And get this, Honda engineers designed the GL 1800's engine to run for 1,000,000 miles on the dyno under full load. That wasn't marketing fluff. It was part of their internal reliability testing. This isn't just a motorcycle engine. It's an engineering monument, a mechanical symphony that hums along at 80 miles per hour with barely a vibration, while silently defying time itself.